Yo, take a look at this because this is crazy. An ideological divide is emerging between men and women in many countries around the world. I think this is one of the most important social trends unfolding today, and it provides an answer to several puzzles. I think so as well. You take a look at this, okay? In South Korea, it's crazy. A wide ideological gap is opening up between young men and women in countries across the world. South Korea, okay? So the higher you go up in the graph, the more liberal you are. The lower you go in the graph, the more conservative you are, all right? All right? I guess like this is how they score on a test specifically. This is from Gallup, okay? So women in South Korea have been getting more liberal, but men since like 2016 onward have just fallen off a cliff when it comes to conservatism, making the country like take a hard right turn when it comes to women's rights. Which has been absolutely wild. I wanted to do a segment on this sometime. I'm not sure. Do we have any people who have family in South Korea who know a little something about South Korea? Or else I might have to find somebody in my area that has a little bit more knowledge about South Korea, because I would like to do a segment on it. I already have the title for the segment. Meet South Korea's new incel president. They said that dude must have heard that he needed a therapist and put a space in it, so he needed a rapist. Yeah, they were like, oh, they said I needed a rape. Okay, I'm in. They said rapist, and bro said I'm locking in. Incel president. Yeah, South Korea has a new, in like 2021 or something. South Korea had an election where they got a new incel president. Basically, it's the last South Korean presidential election was between, I'm not joking, a racist and like a YouTube anti-feminist. Okay, and the YouTuber anti-feminist won, and then he decided to get rid of like the Office of Gender Equality and get rid of like roll back a lot of the progress that was made on like anti-sexual assault laws. Basically like giving a green light to be able to assault as many women as they want with like the lowest possible with only being able to suffer the lowest possible criminal charges for it. Things along those lines. Combating feminism in the workplace, combating diversity and equity initiatives in the workplace and in schools and all that type of stuff. Enforcing really strict gender hierarchy. Right, all of that stuff's happening in South Korea, and it's fueled by rhetoric in South Korean men feeling like they're losing out to women, so they need to start to put women in their place. They said like they believe that they're like that they're being taken advantage of by women. Like they're like, I feel discriminated against by women, and women are just doing too much, so we need to stop them. I'm telling you straight up, Uhuru means freedom in Swahili. They think that they're a part of a freedom movement by attacking women. In the US, like you've been seeing it, there's been a divide between men and women in the country. Women have been getting much more liberal. Men have been getting like bumping up and down when it comes to being conservative, not conservative. They're much more conservative today. Germany, men have gotten more conservative, women gotten more liberal. In the UK, though, as the country has been falling apart, both men and women have been getting more liberal, but men have obviously been lagging behind a lot in comparison. Are they dead ass? I'm telling you, this graph shows you that they're dead ass. Okay, this is proof that they're dead ass, and their new incel president is also proof that they're dead ass. They are serious right now. Men in South Korea believe that they're a discriminated against minority. They believe South Korea runs in slavery to the. It's very sad stuff. God save Britain. I don't know if anybody except God can save Britain at this point, and he's even got a hard task ahead of him. Why are men so delusional? Well, I mean, it makes a little bit of sense why they get more conservative. Now, remember, people get more conservative as they have more struggle and strife in their life. And guys have been having more struggle, especially when it comes to work and dating and making friends. And so instead of having like social groups where they can connect and women that they connect to, instead women are able to have like their own lives because they're able to have like jobs and own houses and have bank accounts and vote, and they usually have bigger friend groups, and they don't necessarily need men in their lives to provide for them. Before, a lot of the interactions between men and women were forced because women weren't allowed to have things in society, but now instead of that they are, and now men have to play catch up when it comes to a world that deconstructs masculinity but doesn't build it back up for something different. Femininity has been deconstructed but built back as something slightly different, right? The idea of femininity would be like growing up and getting married early and having kids with him and falling in love, you know, the 2.5 kids, white picket fence house, like making hot pies and setting them on the windowsill right in front of the sink, and the waft goes across, and like a cartoonish squirrel then floats on the good smelling raspberry pie into the window before you slam it down on their neck and they go wah, right, as their tongue goes flying out of their mouth, and then you slap them out, and then you like tie your husband's tie, and you give the kids a pat on the head before they go out to work, and then you dose yourself with crack cocaine while you sit at home alone. You know, that used to be the idea of femininity, all right? But today it's, you know, it's more like you can be basically whatever you want. A girl can be basically whatever she literally wants, right? A girl can be like everything and be whatever. They can be like a high feminine pink princess, or they can be like basically a guy with tits, and that's just, and like they're all women, and like literally nobody cares. That's just like another woman, and that's like, and that's just it, right? With guys, there's a much stricter idea of masculinity, and even that's been broken down and kind of like spread about, where there are like little camps of masculinity that you can be into, but there's like still some ideas of what a man is and should be, and thoughts about that. You know, there's just a lot of stuff that goes into it that women just don't have to deal with. On top of the fact that now women have a taste of freedom and they want more. You know, you get like a little sip of freedom and you're like, God, oh, that tastes good. You know, you ever been out and about on a hot day, and then you go to McDonald's and you pick up the McDonald's Sprite, and then it like bites your mouth, it like nibbles at your tongue, and you go, oh, it's like ice cold. You ever had an ice cold glass of water right next to you after you wake up in the middle of the night sweating? That's what freedom feels like to women in a lot of these countries. So obviously they get more liberal because they're like, we need more of that. Obviously, god damn, this freedom tastes good. But for men, the freedom of women. But for men, since relationships in these countries were built off of women being forced to interact with men, a society that doesn't force women to interact with men in like interpersonally leads to more problems for men, because those systems were built off of them have like being like basically having, I'm not their pick of women, but forces women or coerces women through social pressures to be able to interact with men more, and now men have to go out of their way more, and women don't have to go out of their way more to be able to like make relationships and stay in them and things along those lines, right? Yeah, and money is a big thing as well. Women being able to make money more means that they're not reliant on men to be able to provide for them, meaning stopping them from being forced to be like, I need to get a husband. Like it's like having a husband is a financial necessity for women, like it was in the past, but not anymore, right? Also, it's a big reason why like people like ask questions about like what's going on with like black marriage rates and why black people aren't married as much as like white people are. Another big thing is that black women typically can make as much, if not more, money than black men usually, at least in this country, meaning that they weren't as reliant on men for their needs as white women were and are even today, leading to them not needing to get married as much, leading to marriage rates going down. That's another big thing. So we talked about shotgun marriages a couple streams ago about how that led to, and that's one of the big reasons why there's like single mothers as well. So shotgun marriages not being a big thing in the black community, as well as black women being able to make as much, if not more money than black men on average, leads to them also not needing to be married as much as white women, and those white women were usually still like clung on to their men as a financial asset because they were like forced to in the situations that they were or grew up in, right? And so yeah, this divide right now is big and really only getting deeper, and it's really unfortunate. There's another thing here. Here's South Korea, where the ideological divide between young men and women is famously wide. Young women have become markedly more progressive on gender norms, but young men have not budged. They have not moved.
This meme is very real.
Share who agree in the statement that what women really wants is a family and children, although they would like to work. What women really want is a family and children, although they liked to work too. And women are like at like 43, 44%. Men are at like under 30%. Interesting. Striking one in the US. Share of people who agree with the statement, women seek to gain power by getting control over men. Oh my gosh. And this is like by the percentage. So guys are like, I don't know, like what, 15, 14, about like 14% of men say that like 18 to 24 say that women gain power by controlling men. Oh my gosh, all these guys have read Chainsaw Man. Women are like 5%. Men are like twice as likely to believe that in a lot of age groups. That's crazy. I'm telling you, dude, these guys genuinely are like, uhuru means freedom in Swahili. We need freedom from women. Women are the oppressors. Oh, my thing is like, what in the world have women done to take control over you? How have you lost control over women? How have you lost control from women? How are you under women now? What happened? Like, you good? Women be using the coochie mind control, guys. Yeah, that's why they say going down on women, because once you go down on women, you then are now under them politically and socially, and they sit on you. They sit on you and they take your money, they take your resources, they take your clout, okay? They take your swag. They take all of it. Your mom has control over you. I do have questions about their methods. Oh, we could look at the study sometime. But yeah. Like how specifically they answer. I can't look through the entire study right now. But yeah. Interesting stuff. This is where we are today. Man. Oh, and like South Korea had a massive rejection of like the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement, as like many people call it, was helped spark a lot of things with this, because a lot of these divides are usually around like 2010, 2006. That's where you see like a lot of these like big dips, because that's where a lot of like the Me Too movement really popped up. And what that was basically, and the response to that was basically, and you saw it a lot. There was a lot of arguments from men to other men saying that this movement is to basically make it so that women have complete control over any guy's life that they do or don't like. They're pushing stories and possible convictions of people that were like guys that were like falsely accused of assault. And they're like, at any point in time, a woman could just not like the way you look and go, this guy to me, and then everybody in the street will beat you within an inch of your life, and then you'll be taken into police custody, where you will once again be beaten within an inch of your life. Now it's half an inch, since they already did the first inch, and then you're going to go to court, where you'll lose all your money, you'll lose all your clout and all your swag, and the judge is going to call you ugly, and then in the court they'll beat you within an inch of your life again, a quarter of your life, and then you're going to go to jail for the rest of the life that you have remaining, and you'll die in jail as the woman laughs, and there's nothing that you can do or say. Because even if you do win the court case, it'll be over. You lose your job, you'll lose your house, you'll lose your car, they'll kill your dog, they'll they'll do all of these types of things to you, right? And even though it's so wildly, drastically, insanely hard to prove that somebody was lying about like an assault case, and even in the cases where you claim that somebody lied about like an assault, how do you differentiate somebody just being wrong from somebody lying? I don't know. what we do know is that there's a lot of guys that fear now being falsely accused of assault by women and think that there's no recourse that they have, meaning that they believe that women completely control their lives and there needs to be something done to retroactively fix that divide, to help bring them in line with women so they can have power as well, since women have taken complete control over society by being able to, if you've been around, you like, just simply to them, just simply being around a woman is dangerous to the point where you're putting your life, your career, your social connections, everything at risk by simply being around women, leading to you not leading to men like pulling away from women and having more reactionary views about women just based off of a complete lie that they like to tell each other. That's something that even the thing is, this is so perverse that even, I'm not lying to you, even one of my friends who's not really like, he's not really like a guy who follows politics very much, but it's even, dude just like plays games really, and I guess he watches Asmongold a bit and XQC sometimes, but like he even, but that was like, I don't think he does that as much anymore, but he even was like, he even mentioned the idea that like, oh, you got to be careful, she could like accuse you or something, Lamau, right? Like one of those things. But the more like it was a jokey sort of situation, but even still, like that idea that was like even in his head. First mistake was Asmon. True. Like the idea was even in his head that's like a real possibility that could actually happen, is that you get falsely accused of assaulting a girl because she just doesn't like you. It's just has swept through the entirety of guys, because listen, being a victim pays a lot. It feels good to be a victim. You know what I mean? Now you have like a whole movement that you can get onto, and you're like, we're in our struggle. You know, Uhuru means freedom in Swahili. Let my people go, man. Let my people go. And you can feel like righteous and justified, especially when one of the people who are part of your movement does something wrong, because listen, he may have done something wrong, but it was in the pursuit of freedom. You can't possibly really get mad at someone for doing something wrong in the pursuit of freedom. Do you know what we have to go through? Do you know what we suffer? Every day my people suffer. Like you've seen these guys in comment sections of videos of dudes punching women. Like to them, that's like Moses throwing down the stick and it turning into a snake, you know? Like in front of the Pharaoh. Knock the teeth out of a random woman's mouth. And that's like, that's you going up against the system. It's peak victim mentality. And it helped lead to a lot of guys giving up like the gynocentric hypergamy, pussy whip society that leaves guys with like no choice but to sit in their rooms and jerk off until they die. It's sad. It's sad. It's the only real idea of victim, is the only real manifestation of victim of like actual widespread victim mentality that I've seen in my entire life. So yeah, I in my opinion, that's what I see is going on. That's what I think is happening.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. If you're enjoying the content, hit the subscribe button. If you don't, it'll make Boo very sad. I know a bunch of you who are watching are not subscribed. Join the frenzy. You won't regret it.
Thank you, Boo.